Hello, and welcome to Bio233. I'm your instructor, Professor Adrian Foster Scharf, and I wanted to hop onto YouTube really quickly and give you some information about your course. Can you believe it? Your course is starting in less than a week. That's right, on Sunday, January 24th at midnight, your Blackboard course space goes live. That means you'll have access to the syllabus, you'll have access to the first week's worth of lectures and lab, and there's a bit of other important information there too. So you'll want to be sure to log on sometime after midnight. You don't have to log on at midnight. Please get some rest, get some sleep. But sometime after that, you'll want to log on to our course space and explore. For this course, you will need a textbook. We're using Merriam and Hohen's Human Anatomy and Physiology 11th edition. So it's the one that has the gymnast on it. So whether you use the electronic copy of this textbook or the paper copy of the textbook, that's completely up to you. New or used, doesn't matter. You just need the textbook because you will want to read each chapter as we get ready to learn something new. Now, me personally, I prefer a paper book because I'm one of those people who likes to underline things that I think are important, and I'll write notes in the margins as I'm reading something. So I would probably choose the paper book, but you can do that with an electronic book as well. You just have to know for yourself which book you're going to want to read. I'm not sure that I would want to read the electronic book, so that's why I wouldn't go with it. But do what's best for you. You'll also need a lab book. So I'm recommending Merriam and Hohen's lab book. You want the fetal pig version, which looks like this. It has the guy on the bicycle. Why do you need the lab book? Well, I actually put most of my lab materials online, including a lecture, but the lab book is good to have something to go back to and refer to as you're doing the lab exercises. So I recommend that you get the lab book, and I'm recommending this particular book because most of our instructors at Bristol Community College use this book, and it's a good reference. So the chances are that if you buy it now, then you'll use it again in Bio 234. So you'll need that book. I do also offer practice exercises for lecture and lab using the Mastering AMP. So this is a Pearson product. It's a study help. If you want to practice with questions on the material that you're reading, then you may want to buy the access code for this course. You want to be sure that your access code matches the textbook, so it should say something about the 11th edition Merriam and Hohen Human Anatomy and Physiology on the cover, and you want to make sure that you buy the modified version of the code. This will allow you to access extra questions through our course space. If you don't buy the modified version of this code, then you won't have access to the materials. You also need to make sure that you buy the code that has our textbook on it, on the cover. If you buy, say, the 10th edition or the 9th edition of the code, it's going to be dirt cheap, but you won't be able to access the questions, the practice questions. So that's completely optional, but some people have found it helpful in the past. But again, completely optional. Let's see, what other things might you be interested in knowing? Well, I'm still working on your syllabus, but you'll have access to that on Sunday. Would you like to know what your exams are going to be? I anticipate that you will have 4 exams during the semester, so there'll be 3 lecture exams, and then you'll have a final exam. That's for your lecture. And then for your lab, you'll have 2 lab practicals where you'll get a chance to show me what you've learned about the tissue, the structure of the tissues, the bones, the muscles, and the nervous system. So your exams are tentatively going to be on January 16th for exam 1, March 22nd for exam 2, April 12th for exam 3, and then your final exam will be on May 10th. So there's an exam pretty much every month starting in February. Now, my exams are usually a combination of multiple choice fill-in, there'll be some essays, and you may have to label some diagrams. They're all online, accessible through our Blackboard course space, and they're open for a week. So that means they'll open up on one Sunday, and then they'll close at midnight on the following Sunday. So hopefully at some point during that week, you'll find time to get the exam done. Okay, you can take it when you have time. The lab practicals will be on March 8th. That's lab practical number 1. And then you'll have your second lab practical on April 26th. Okay? I'll talk more about the lab practicals as we get closer to those dates. One last thing, spring break. Spring break this year is the week of March 15th. And in the past, I've used spring break as a time to kind of get caught up on grading. And I've had students who've tried to get caught up on doing homeworks, looking at lectures, taking quizzes, things like that. This year, you won't be able to do that. So this year, the Site Lab is going to be doing some major upgrades to Blackboard, and that means that we will not have access to that resource. So during spring break, you won't be able to get caught up if you fall behind. So you want to plan accordingly. Okay? If you have any questions about this information, or after you start poking around in our course space, you start having questions, please don't hesitate to email me. This is my email address, and you want to be sure that you include Bio233 in the subject line of the email. I do filter my emails according to my classes, so if you don't put that in there, I might not get your email. So again, put Bio233 in the subject line of your emails. If you have a short, quick question, you can also use the Remind app to talk to me. So the Remind app is a bit of software that masks your phone number and my phone number, but outside of that, it's basically like any other texting program. So it allows you to send me a text and ask questions. So this is the information for the Remind app. You might want to log in. I've had students who were studying and had a quick question or a quick clarification about something, and they were able to get their questions answered almost instantaneously. All right, I'll see you next week, and enjoy the rest of your holiday. Oh, and if you're taking an intercession course, good luck with your exams. Bye now.